everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday night with
OWCP Chats.
with Chris and Gini.
I'm Chris.
I'm Gini.
That was Gini.
Wait, let me try that again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night OWCP Chats with me, Gini, and him, Chris.
Or if you're my age, hello and welcome to Movie Phone.
I know a lot of you
She doesn't even get the reference. I don't think she ever called it.
No.
Did you go to movies when you were in high school?
No, wasn't allowed to.
So that's why. If you went to movies in high school, you would have called Movie Phone.
And yes,
you
I
need to
wasn't
know.
allowed to because my dad didn't want me to.
Yeah. Thanks,
He was
Dad.
very strict.
Thank you, Dad.
Anyways, I forgot what I was going to say.
We were starting over.
Oh, for those of you that are on here that are new, I'm Jeannie. This is my husband, Chris, and we teach federal employees of all unions and agencies, OWCP. We educate you and train you on how to file your work injuries and all that good stuff.
And for those of you that are really new to the federal workforce, OWCP is workers' comp.
Yes.
Hope you never need it, but if you do need it and you wait to get the information, it's too late.
Yes. Oh, look at you guys. You guys hopped on really quick tonight. Awesome.
What's the big deal?
So I know we had I think a little over 100 shares on tonight's topic. Tonight we're going to talk about schedule award.
Wait, just 100?
Just 100. A little over 100.
Can everyone just share that some more, please? This is a really big topic.
So, yeah. Let me get... Share. Yeah. Jessica, hello. Melissa, Maureen, hello. Judy, hello. Again, so tonight we are discussing schedule award. I know last week when we had Attorney Eric Blowers and Attorney Christina on, you guys had a whole bunch of schedule award questions that we did not get to answer. So tonight we're going to go ahead and answer those questions and answer any new questions that you have. And if we miss some, because I'm going to be sharing, Michelle, thank you for sharing. If we miss any questions, go ahead and just post it again. It's because the questions are going so fast on here.
I mean, it's fast. You can see how fast the comments go, but we're working on it. So
what I need you guys to do, we're still in the February drawing for the person that has the most shares. So far, we have one person, and she is in the lead this month, and it'll be to a restaurant, $100 gift card to a restaurant of her choice.
To my favorite restaurant.
And Chris will just fly out there and take you to your favorite restaurant as well. Hello, everybody. Hello. Marianne. How are you guys? Tanyelle, hey you.
What's up, Tanyelle?
Nicole, Juanita Zeb, Bama Edwards. Hello. Ron Speakman, what's up? Hope y'all are doing well.
What's up, Ron?
Yes, we are doing... What was that?
We have a puppy. She's not happy because she's not happy because she can't see me right now.
All right. So before we begin, do some little housekeeping. Don't forget to share. You could still be the winner for the end of the month. Share winners after. I will be counting it up this weekend, and we will announce it next Wednesday when we have another topic. And I know, hello from Ohio, Cindy.
What's up,
Jose,
Ohio?
Okeechobee, Florida. Hey. Cassie, hello. Portal Maria said, how come I can't share? Okay, so right at the bottom, right there at the bottom of your phone, there's a share button. Go ahead and share. Just click that button, okay?
Yeah.
I know you guys all want to win, and I think...
I want you all to win, too.
I went to the store. I won't say what store, but I went to the store, and I think I have next month's share winner item. I have to talk to Chris about it. I totally forgot to talk to him about it.
If it's that good, I might get to win it, too.
Tammy, hello.
Hi, Tammy.
Madeline, Chris Wake, Tammy Newman. I see Tammy watching twice. All right, guys. So, again, go ahead and share. I'm going to be sharing. I'm going to have Chris do a little bit of some housekeeping and tell you about a few things as far as Zoom meetings and the book.
So we've done a couple of Zoom meetings over the last few weeks with local unions. In fact, over the weekend we did, I'm looking at a map over there. It helps me. Alabama, we did the mail handlers for the state of Alabama on Saturday. We're really glad to see everybody.
Yeah, that was really fun.
We used to travel there all the time. We have so many good friends there, and we've really missed them since this COVID nonsense started. We also, prior to that, did a Zoom training in Staten Island, New York. And in Staten Island, New York, they said, Chris, you got to promise us that you'll put a doctor in Staten Island. So I made that promise, and we've talked to 3 doctors so far, and we're going to keep doing that. But what I'm doing is and you folks in Staten Island, it's coming your way. I'm sending free books out to everybody, every local that does Zoom meetings and invites us in, because we want to incentivize you to not, to let us train you. But more than that, I want you to have the opportunity to get the books and keep them in your union halls, because I didn't write them to set in a box and in my house. I want them to get out to you. So for every local union that invites us on to do some training, I'm going to ship you some books to have in your union hall's library. So that leads me to a couple of things. One, the book. If you don't know already, that's probably just because you're new. I've written a couple of books titled Breaking OWCP and Breaking OWCP Volume 2, right here. And this is my way of breaking down a very complicated system that was definitely created to confuse you, to a format that's easy to understand. It's a fast read, there's line spacing. I write it in a way that I think, and so some of it's conversational, bullet points. I've made it easy. So what I did is I took OWCP and I made it to where we can all understand what it's trying to tell us. And it's rules, laws, and regulations, tips, things that I've learned from other people. There's a chapter on horror stories and the lessons that you should learn from things that I've seen in the past. So this book, or these books, are available at www.breakingowcp.com, and go there to get those and free forms. And last, housekeeping item. As you all know or should know, the other way that we help you besides teach you here and write books for you and other things is we train doctors to help you when you get hurt. One of the biggest problems, if not the biggest problem, that you face is having no doctors that understand this, or no doctors at all. So as a franchise company, Federal Injury Centers trains doctors, and I'm very happy to say that we have offices now in 12 states. That's more than 20% of the country. And I'm going to name off the cities. Are you ready? I'm going to start from west to east.
Drum roll.
So we will have, and many of these are in training phase, okay, credentialing and training, but it's better than not having any at all. So we've gotten commitments from a doctor that's got 10 locations in and around Seattle and Portland. So the Northwest Coast is covered.
Let's see those hearts for all the cities that we're going to be in.
We are in talks with a doctor that's got locations in Las Vegas and Michigan. We've got offices established in McKinney, Texas, and Dallas, Texas. We are in the talks. I would imagine that deal will be done with a doctor in Houston, Texas tomorrow. We've got a doctor who has agreed to sign on and already even finished credentialing right outside of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which I believe is Walker.
McMorris.
No, Walker, Louisiana.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, outside of Baton Rouge. We've got Birmingham, Alabama, which is actually Bessemer, and Dr. Harper there has already secured staff space and equipment to open up in Montgomery by mid-April. So we're really excited about that. We've got Memphis, Tennessee as a franchise location. I'm really saddened that more of you are not taking advantage of that opportunity to have a doctor there who knows how to get claims accepted. So far as I understand it, we're batting 1,000 on accepted claims in Memphis, Tennessee. We recently have commitments for doctors in South Carolina and North Carolina and Maryland. So, we've got offices here in Florida, including Fort Lauderdale is coming on. So those are our franchise locations. As more franchise locations comes on, we will keep you posted. What we got?
Jody says we love Dr. Harper. Jessica said Dr. Harper is awesome. I use him. Yay for Houston. Oh, we have a Houston person on here. The other day I posted and said, where are all my Houston people? And one person said they were 50 miles away.
Yeah, and I've done that. And I've said, who's from Dallas? Post below here. Or who's from Memphis? I get nobody. It's like crickets. Is there really nobody in Tennessee watching us?
Where is there one in Maryland? So, are those guys coming on still?
So,
yeah, they are, right?
hold that thought.
Anna Martin.
Well, the reason I say that is because they're just signing their lease tomorrow, and I need to make sure that goes through. And I'll tell you what city or what part of Maryland. Not 100% sure.
Okay, Sharon, you said the doctors have to write in the 6th edition or your claim will be kicked back.
Are we talking schedule award already?
No.
All right. So what are yes, that is. So
No, I meant no to you.
okay.
Where in Maryland? As soon as we get the location,
We'll let you know.
We will let you know. Let's see. Dr. Wooten out of Memphis is great. Tracy, oh, thank you. So, Jen, okay. So then you guys wind up just like shooting every city and state down.
We're
so
coming.
We're
coming to a city near you. I promise.
Is there just Fort Lauderdale in Florida? For now, yeah.
That's the only franchise location.
Yeah. But we're going to be getting more soon. Michelle, you said went to Dallas yesterday. Happy to hear y'all are getting somewhere closest to Southeast Texas too. Joe, okay. When I'm done, I will. For those of you that are hearing impaired, I will go ahead and put that in so you guys could see that. Carol said, I need Houston. My poor doctor passed. I will miss him. He got me approved for surgery. Okay. So, those of you that have the book, what chapter is the schedule award on?
It's 2 different books, and there's a chapter in both books.
Okay. So if you have book 1.
It is chapter 13, page 95.
Okay. And then book 2.
It is chapter 10, page 131.
Okay. The one in Maryland, okay, we don't have a location yet.
We just have a commitment for a doctor there. So,
yeah.
Which is, we're way further ahead than we were, 2 weeks ago. But now we have an actual written commitment.
Yeah, so we're going to get one in all the major cities. So please understand, although it's a franchise, we can't be like McDonald's, one every mile or 2 miles or so.
Yeah, we're talking to someone in Tucson, in Phoenix, in Salt Lake City, in Denver. We're talking to someone in St. Louis. Still looking at the map, that's why. I'm talking to someone in Madison, Wisconsin, at special request from my friend Eileen. And we're talking to 3 doctors throughout Ohio, Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati. And we've also talked to a couple in Pennsylvania. So we really are, this is more than a full-time job trying to get doctors to say yes.
Oh, okay, again, for everyone. We are going to come to every state, probably by the end of the year, and I gave Chris
that's a big,
quota.
hairy, audacious goal.
We might have 50 doctors. We might.
50 offices.
That doesn't mean it's going to be in all 50 states, but
we're working on it.
We are working on it. Our goal is to have 200 plus franchises.
Because we need to have a doctor within range of all of you.
No, nothing in Cleveland and Akron.
Not yet.
What I'm going to do is, after we're done, maybe tomorrow or by the end of the week, I will go ahead and list all the cities and states where the doctors are. However, we will let you know when they're ready to see patients, because we will do our marketing campaign and start pushing you guys there.
Yeah, because we're not going to let you go someplace and get a denied claim. I don't do denied claims, so we'll have to just make sure we're all trained up real good.
New York, we're coming. Pennsylvania, we're coming.
North Dakota, we're definitely coming. And your little sister down below, or brother, however you guys look at each other, South Dakota.
All right, so we're talking about schedule award. We're going to continue from last week.
Someone said Tennessee. We're in Memphis. Tell all your friends, Donna. All of your friends. All of them. And your coworkers. Tell all of them, too.
Massachusetts, we have one in Norwood and Quincy.
Yeah, we're...
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see all the way up there. Yeah, we're in Massachusetts. Okay, so let's talk about schedule awards. So I said this in the second book. Schedule awards is a big deal because money. So if you're new to OWCP or new to the federal workforce, you may be asking, what's a schedule award? Well, depending on your body area that's injured, at the end of treatment, when you're as good as you can get, then you're eligible for what seems like a final settlement, and that's called a schedule award. To get that, I'm going to start right here, by the way. To get a schedule award, you have to be at what's called maximum medical improvement, or MMI. You don't choose at what date you're at MMI. Your doctor does. The doctor says, okay, we've done all the treatment, we've exhausted everything, this is as good as you can be. In my medical opinion, you're at MMI, maximum medical improvement. And after that, if your body area that's injured is on the list, and we'll talk about the list in a second, then you're eligible. And then you get an impairment rating by the 6th edition. Many doctors use the 5th, and that's a mistake. It's an automatic 0. And then you turn that in, attach it to a CA7, and then you wait. And don't wait too long. You follow up with your claims examiner as often as you feel comfortable and find out what's going on there. You know, where's my schedule award? And then they start paying you. So I'm going to start with the first book, because the information I put in here was on purpose. And I'm sorry, if you hear a crying dog in the background, it's because there's a crying dog in the background. All right, page 95. So page 95 in the first book. I'm not going to read this word for word because I don't need to. I wrote it and I kind of remember what it says. But I want you to know where it's at. So if your accepted condition is in the spine, okay, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, chances are you're not eligible. Now, there is a rating, there's an impairment rating for the 6th edition for the spine, but OWCP doesn't recognize it. So, no, Ron, it's not Gizmo, it's a crying dog. Gizmo never cries, he just never, he never wakes up, unless he's digging. Anyway, so if you have a spinal condition, it's probably not going to be approved unless it's causing radiating symptoms into your arms and hands and legs and feet, in which case you may be eligible, but your doctor can tell you that for sure. So that makes everybody nuts. Like, what do you mean? I have a spinal injury. I can't get an impairment rating. I know. I think it's not fair either. But that's the rules. If your accepted condition is anywhere else, you're probably eligible for a schedule award. You know, arms, hands, legs, knees, ankles, shoulders, all those are eligible. And other things too. On the chart, there's even probably some things I won't say. Because,
He just won't say.
I'm not saying it. You can read the chart.
You're such a dork.
So anyways, I said, this is kind of a repeat. First, your doctor's got to say you're at MMI. So, remember that. Because at the end of this, or midway through this, somebody's going to come out and say, when am I at maximum medical improvement? When your doctor says so. And then someone's going to say, here's the next thing, how long am I eligible? And the answer is, as long as you're alive. Mm-hmm. If you're no longer alive, you're not eligible. Okay? And if you're no longer alive and you're here asking that question, talk to her afterwards.
And I'll pass you back right on to him.
Any questions on that so far?
All right. No questions on that so far. Be patient. Let him get through with everything on the schedule award, and then you guys can throw the questions. I know there's others of you that hopped on right when we got on, and we got on 2 minutes earlier, and everybody thinks we got on so early, and I told him let's get on earlier. Anyways, so you understand you get a schedule award after you've reached MMI. I said that wrong, didn't I? Let me read the book. Or are you laughing at me or the doggy?
That's not laughter. I think my little 9-week-old puppy is about to break my door down. She's incredibly strong. So are there any other questions? I want to have some right now.
There's tons of questions.
Bring some right now.
Okay, Ramon Gonzalez says, I'm on OWCP. It was supposed to be for 45 days, so they continue to pay me until last pay. Now they are telling me I have to pay that. Can you help?
Okay, so that wasn't a scheduled award question. Okay, so they will have you pay back COP if your claim isn't accepted. I think that's what that was about. The only thing you ever have to pay back is COP. And yeah, we can help with that. All you have to do is get your claim accepted.
Catherine, the doctor, Dr. Paulson, he is not a part of our franchise.
No, he's not with Federal Injury Centers. We did make an offer to that office, but for whatever reason, they decided not to. No problem. But no, he's not with us.
Did you answer that guy's question?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have received a schedule. This is Lynn Hall. I've received a schedule award already, but what happens when my condition worsens? I'm currently on disability retirement from USPS.
Yeah, so you need to go back to your treating doctor and tell them, my condition worsened. They can redo your impairment rating and see if it's changed. And if it's changed, they can modify the schedule award.
Okay.
Yeah, and on that one, I would suggest calling Eric Blowers, because when you get to modifying schedule awards, the doctors are always going to be confused. And it's too important to get it wrong. So get some advice from Eric Blowers on that one.
Wendy Page says, is your initial MD, when you go to urgent care, the day of injury considered your main doctor throughout your claim?
No.
Do they update the diagnosis, or is it the specialist? Who are you referred to?
Yeah, so the urgent care doctor doesn't stay your doctor unless you go back and keep going back, so don't do that. Instead, right away, go find an OWCP doctor. It's probably not an orthopedic surgeon. And then make sure that your diagnoses are correct. You said something about adding diagnoses? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just want to have the correct ones in the beginning. If you have to add them later on, it's a real hassle. It's possible, and I mean, we do it all the time, but it's kind of a hassle for you.
On my phone, I cannot add, there's no option to add the closed caption from the phone.
Yeah, we have to wait till it's over.
So I have to wait till the video is done when we're done, and then go into my laptop and put the closed caption on. So, but yeah.
She won't forget.
Yeah. Linda Terry, you need the book. How do I get the book? You go to www.breakingowcp.com. If you give it a little bit, I'm going to pin it in the bottom. Okay?
She talks about our extra W's because we have more than you do, but it's like bragging.
Let's see. Sharon says, if a person is on Social Security disability now from injuries from 10 plus years ago, how do you claim a schedule award for those back injuries?
Well, you're still alive, so you're still eligible. If your OWCP claim was ever approved, you're still eligible. You just are for the rest of your life. So go on back to your doctor and get a schedule award. Get the 6th edition impairment rating.
Okay, now that I found. Okay, so right there, right down there, I pinned where you can contact us and where you can buy the book. So if anybody needs the book, it's down there. Also, we have Emmy, Jennifer, and Kamini on, our claims examiners, our case managers. Oh gosh. And
our OWCP experts.
Yeah, and if you see people answering, it says Wednesday night chats, it's one
That's
of the
them.
3 of them.
Yeah.
So you guys know.
Yeah. Thanks for your help too.
Sharon says a lot of doctors don't know how to write in the 6th edition.
Tell me about it. But in my second book, I put a picture of the 6th edition book here because, how do you know if they're using the 6th edition or not? So, I always, and in the book I said this, ask them if they have the book. I'd ask to see the book. Don't let them get one over on you, because if they don't use it and do it right, you're going to get a bad rating.
Yeah.
And so you just got to make sure your doctor's trained at it. I would ask, how many of these have you done? How many of these have gotten denied that you've done? I'd want to interview the doctor.
Yeah. And so you guys know, our franchise doctors, they will have to learn, if they haven't learned already, the 6th edition.
Yeah, we require them to get trained.
So
obviously, I mean, I want you to be able to get your schedule awards with us if you need them.
Christy Anderson says, how many years after MMI can you file a CA7 of a neck injury?
So if your claim's accepted, you can always go back and file your CA7s for claim for compensation. So there's not a cutoff for that. As long as your claim is accepted, you can go back to day 1 and get your time back. That's what a CA7 is for.
Monica Hutchins says, I was at MMI in September with my ankle. Where do I get the form to take to my doctor to fill out? My doctor did not know what to do. So
there is no form, except for the CA7. When the impairment rating is done, you attach it to your CA7 and check letter D, schedule award. But there's no form to fill out to do an impairment rating. Now, with that said, and this isn't going to help your doctor, but since you asked me about a form, you should all take a look at page 141 of the second book, because what I did there is I gave you a worksheet that never existed before.
Yeah.
Because we get asked all the time, how much is my schedule award going to be? And I don't know, okay? There's an algebraic equation that, if you're not good at math, is going to be complicated. So what I did is make it easy. And so if you can see here, it's that chart right here. If you can fill in the blanks, you can get really close to figuring out what your impairment rating or your schedule award should be. And it goes like this. You have to take your total weekly salary at the time of the injury. Okay? If you haven't been working, then your salary didn't change. Now, maybe it has, but you need to make sure your then current salary or the salary when you started, when you were injured. And then you multiply that by 66 2/3 or 75%, depends on how many dependents you have. But if you know that information, your weekly salary and how many dependents you have, I hope you know, then you can fill out letter A. Letter B is the number of weeks from the chart. So check this out. So there's this chart. See that chart right there? Yeah. So that chart has body parts and numbers of weeks. It comes straight out of OWCP or page 138 of my book. So you put the number of weeks on that chart, and then the doctor's impairment percentage. So the doctor does a 6th edition impairment and comes up with, say, 10%. So you plug in 10%. And then you multiply A, B, and C together. That's your total award. Then you divide it by the number of weeks on the chart, and that's your weekly pay. So that's a lot of stuff for me to tell you here. I don't expect you to remember it, but it's there, okay? It's there because I want you to be able to figure out what your scheduled award should be. I think that's important. It's your money. Yeah. And prior to this, it was like a secret. They kept it a secret from you. And if you know that the impairment rating was done right, which is the X factor here, because if the doctor does it wrong, then it doesn't matter if you can plug it into a pretty formula. It's got to be done right. But if it's done right, you should reasonably be able to figure out what they should pay you. And I think that's important.
Sue, right, you asked, do we have the chat on our website? So we're revamping our website, and those are the things that we're going to also incorporate.
Yeah.
And it's also on the app. So if you guys don't have the app, go to the app, go to the Play Store or Google Store, and download Federal Injury Center's app and click it. You have to somehow just create an account, but you don't have to like talk to anybody or deal with other people.
It's easy. It's easier than signing up for Twitter. And even like 830 of you have done that.
Rosa says, can you deny surgery and get paid? Not sure if I'm healthy enough to have surgery.
Yeah, you don't have to have surgery. If a doctor recommends it, you can just be scared of it and say no. You can't be forced to do it. And in fact, if you refuse surgery, you can be placed at MMI at that time, even though surgery could have helped. It's a little confusing, but that's how that works.
Okay, Jessica Galloway say, okay, so does the schedule award mean I no longer get treatment? I'm in weekly physical therapy to improve mobility.
No, not necessarily. You know, treatment in OWCP is based on what's medically necessary. In other words, what your doctor says is needed. And as long as they continue to pre-authorize it, you can continue to get lifetime medical benefits. It just requires pre-authorization, which, like our offices do that automatically. We pre-authorize everything.
Sandra Ashby says, if you submit a CA7 before you die, they pay out.
There you go. For schedule award, yes.
Rhodey Benjamin said, do you have to be working in order to get it?
No, you don't have to be working to get a schedule award. However, this is important to note. If you're on OWCP and you're receiving OWCP compensation, you can't at the same time receive schedule award compensation. You cannot receive the dual benefits when it's on the same injury or the same claim number. So that's important for you to know. You have to take them one at a time.
Mammy Rogers says, I had surgery in 2015 and my schedule award was denied. Is there anything I could do?
Yeah, you read the denial letter, and in there it'll say it was denied because, and take that back to your doctor that did the impairment rating and say this was denied because, and here's the letter, and have the doctor address that letter and fix it. Now, you're going to probably have, on reconsideration, 12 months from the denial to file an appeal, so don't miss your deadline. That could be really damaging to you.
Sharon, yeah, we don't put our dogs in any type of cages.
Nope.
They're just, she's a puppy and there's no harm. My son's playing with her.
Yeah, she's with Narayan playing.
Rhonda said share it a lot, guys. Aw.
Thank you, really. I hope we are able to help a lot of people.
Did they say they are in cages or simply can't see them? Yeah, they're not in any cages.
Hey.
You can't see them. One dog is with my son in one room and the other one is in the other room.
Let me tell you what, she sleeps with us at night.
Yeah.
She wakes me up at 5:45 and I spend every waking hour with her, and that's why she's mad right now, because I'm not there.
Marianne said, calm down, they love their family. And you guys know Gizmo is like my everything, and now I have a little girl. We do not lock our dogs up in any cages, so there's nothing to worry about, guys. It's fine. Juanita said, definitely recommend Ed Blowers. Who the heck is Ed Blowers?
It's Eric
Blowers. I don't know why I said Ed. Bonnie said, can you file a claim on 2 different repetitive motion injuries at the same time?
Yes, you can.
Okay, yes you can. Andrea says, I'm going for an impairment rating on March 17th. I work for USPS. What am I expecting after the visit?
Well, first of all, during the visit, the doctor should do range of motion testing and the other strength testing and neurological testing, whatever the doctor thinks needs to be done. And, talk to you. A lot of times I say this because doctors will come in and just sit down and barely look at you and hardly talk to you at all and not do any measurements. But when you get a real impairment rating done, they do all those things. Then they'll write a report. The report will indicate what the impairment percentage is based on the 6th edition guide, and you'll take that and attach it to with your CA7 for your schedule award.
He just had a brain fart there.
Nah,
Ron, you want Eric's number? If Emmy or Jennifer or Kami, can you guys put Eric's answer Ron Speakman's phone number and reply to him? Debbie Wine said, let them know about how you can be sent for a second opinion through OWCP before receiving a schedule award.
Well, you can be, but you're not always. I mean, it's just sometimes second opinions happen at so many times during the case. If a claims examiner thinks you're off work too long, or treatment's lasted too long, or if they just want to harass you, there's various times. It happens all the time, second opinions. The key is you have to go. People want to skip it, but don't skip it because only bad things come next.
Jerry Thompson said, my claim was denied but finally accepted, but now post office is sending me a bill to pay back annual, which I don't want to. It's been a nightmare with this.
Your claim was accepted, and they want you to pay back annual leave? It's your leave. I can't imagine why they would have you pay back your own annual leave. It's yours.
Gloria says, please explain to the listeners regarding if you request lump sum, the disadvantages.
Well, you're gonna probably get less money. I think that's the way it is. Most of the time they don't do lump sum, so that's kind of a tricky question. But I'm pretty sure you're not getting the full amount. They want you to take it, week to week or month to month.
Gina said, anyone in Orlando that I can talk to? Okay, so I posted my number down below. It's 877-787-OWCP. Give us a call and we can help you and get you to a doctor. Pook Dilla said, what is an impairment report?
Well, okay, it's the report the doctor writes after doing the impairment rating. Sorry, I use lingo like that, but when they do the impairment rating, they write a report that explains how they did the impairment rating and puts the percentage in there, okay, for you to use for your schedule award calculation.
Sue Wright says, I have 3 shots in wrist. Next is surgery. When do I file for schedule award?
I knew it. There's the question. You file for schedule award when your doctor says you're at maximum medical improvement and not a moment before. So you have to just consult with your doctor and say, hey, doc, can I get any better? What's my prognosis here? Am I at MMI? Let the doctor make that decision. It is a medical decision.
Yeah. If you guys see, down right there, Emmy pinned Eric's info. So if you guys want to grab that, you can grab that. Marianne, thank you. She said the individual can add closed caption on their personal devices. Okay, good. Ron Jackson says,
Repeat that.
Mary Ann Golden said, if you are hearing impaired, the individual can add closed caption on their personal devices.
Yeah.
Ron Jackson said, I love both books. It's worth the money.
Thanks, Ron.
Carrie says, if you have other assets, does that make a difference with disability through USPS?
So disability is separate and apart. That's separate and apart from schedule awards. And disability is through the Office of Personnel Management, whereas OWCP is through the United States Department of Labor. I'm not necessarily a disability expert. With that said, ask the question again.
If you have other assets, does that make a difference with disability through USPS?
Okay, so as I understand the calculation, it should not. Now, this is another area you want to talk to Eric Blowers because he's a legal expert in OPM disability. But what they take into account is your pre-injury or your pre-disability income, and you get 60% of that if the narrative report written by the doctor, proves that you are disabled from that job. By year 2, you get 40%. But the good news is you can take a non-federal job and make up to 80% of your other income as well. So that's a long way to say that they consider your salary, not your assets.
Ron Speakman said, can you get a schedule award and payment through OWCP?
Not at the same time. Great question, Ron. If you're on OWCP's rolls and you're getting paid through there, you can't have schedule award at the same time until you're off of OWCP for whatever reason, and then you're eligible to receive your schedule award.
Donna McNabb says, what's the highest paying injury or body part?
Well, I can tell you this. That's a good question. So according to the chart, I'm going to pick out the thing that has the most weeks. So the leg, if for maximum disability, is 288 weeks. The hand is 244. A foot is 205. Loss of hearing in both ears is 200 weeks. And female private parts are 205 weeks. Just happens to be.
Albert Williams says, can you continue to receive mediation after getting a schedule award?
Mediation. Yeah. I don't know what your mediation would be for, but it sounds definitely like that'd be two different things.
Crystal says, are the doctors you're training in Ohio 6th edition certified?
That's the only way we do it.
They will be if they are not currently. Yeah. So,
and a lot of people aren't, and so
yeah.
we make sure they get that way.
Jerry Thompson says, so I can do a schedule award with a lawyer?
Yeah, so in fact, Eric does these all the time to assist and make sure that you get paid the right amount. He was telling us a while back that he's recovered hundreds of thousands of dollars from people all around the country on impairment ratings, schedule awards that were not calculated properly. So he's able to go back and like get the extra that you didn't get in the first place.
Cindy Winterhalter said, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I said it right.
That's a great name, though.
It is. I want to be Gini Winter. Does your doctor need to write a description of your condition or just state MMI on a CA-17?
Yeah, it's definitely not just MMI. The narrative report's got to be almost like a brand new injury, and then explaining how the doctor came to the conclusion of the impairment percentage using the 6th edition. Yeah, it's much more than, just a half a page.
Stacy McIntyre said, does a CA2 need to be filed the same day I turn it in, or does he need to wait until the doctor appointment?
No, definitely don't wait. In fact, the rule states that supervisors shall not wait for medical evidence before turning it in. That goes to the CA1 and 2. But the rule states that they have 10 business days from the day that you turn it in and fill it out to get it into OWCP. Up to 10. They don't have to wait 10. They could do it today, but they have up to 10 days.
Shirley, Dr. Harper will be in Montgomery sometime April or May.
No,
Is it April?
He said mid-April.
Okay. So by the end of April, he'll be ready to go.
And we're going to do an open house, and Jeannie and I are going to be there, so we'll let you know when we get closer so we can invite you all there.
Anna Marie, you said, are you bringing a center in Ohio?
Yes, 3. Well, look, I'm actually interested in having 5 there, but right now we're in talks with 3 people.
Jerry said, can you please repeat the info about the 6th edition?
Yeah, so, a lot of doctors mistakenly use the 5th edition. And there was a 4th back when I was a kid. They went through the 5th. Now they're at the 6th. But Department of Labor, OWCP, only recognizes the 6th edition. So if you get in there and you ask your doctor, do you work using the 6th edition impairment? And they say yes, say, well, can I see your book? If they don't know what you're talking about, there might be a chance they really don't use a 6th edition.
Right.
And because they all have a guide. It looks like a textbook with a purple cover, just incidentally. And then I would want to ask them, how many of these have you done? How many of these do you get denied? Are you good at this? I'd want to know because there's a lot riding on it.
Kim Marie said it's worth the time to travel to a federal injury trained doctor for the impairment rating. Shout out to Dr. Patron. Okay, so Dr. Patron is not a part of our franchise.
But he was trained by me.
But he was trained by Chris.
And that's why he's so good.
He is a good doctor. Wendy Page said, my accepted condition is concussion. My current condition is post-concussion syndrome and what? Dystonia? Yeah, dystonia.
Dysautonomia.
Who updates that? My neurocardiologist or MD? All 3 came from different doctors, plus hearing loss from an ENT.
Yeah, well, whoever updates it is who you're counting on to write your narrative reports, and then they have to get the diagnostics and the expert advice from the specialist and incorporate it into their narrative to get that accepted.
Ron, it is not vodka. So what I have here is pineapple juice, cranberry juice, and orange juice made by Gini Helms.
She doesn't drink.
Sue said, the surgeon I see is separate from the doc whom gets me approved. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Remy Powell said, if Eric Blowers is hired, does he do all the paperwork?
Well, you need to talk to Eric about that, but my feeling is he does all the paperwork.
Yeah, I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but I would call him.
He handles all of it.
I'd be very surprised if he doesn't.
Sue Haywood said, or Wright, is there an age limit dependents that are disabled?
I think your legal dependents are your legal dependents. I don't think. I know. your legal dependents are your legal dependents.
Okay. So what about, say, because you had surgery on your arm and now your hand is impaired also, do you now get for both or just the arm?
Well, your hand has to be added, so they have to do what's called a diagnosis expansion, and for whatever reason that the hand became impaired, the doctor would have to explain that and link it to the original injury, and then that diagnosis expansion would be adding your hand diagnosis to the existing claim, and then it can be included.
Ramon, so you said, do I need a work comp lawyer or will you tell me later what to do? So...
We'll always tell you. I'm sorry, I just jumped in there. I'll tell you, but if you need a lawyer, I'll tell you that too.
Yeah, Jennifer, if you're on, can you help Mr. Gonzalez or Emmy Rakami?
Yeah, and that was a really great question, and I'm glad he made that point. And Eric knows, even though we're very fond of him, he's my lawyer as well, our lawyer, and he represents so many of you. Eric will be the first one to tell you that he doesn't need to help you if he doesn't. And all of you know that my goal is to make it to where that's irrelevant, that you don't need him anyways.
No.
When we're able to get your claim accepted, you don't have to do things with a lawyer to get that done. When we do documentation right, you get paid right, you don't need a lawyer to fix it. So if you have everything done right in the first place, you don't even need that lawyer. So if we can help you avoid it, we will.
Yeah. You guys are asking for the attorney's phone number. It's right there. You
Right
see
there?
where it says Emmy Pickett? She pinned it.
Is it right here?
Right there.
Right. Oh, wait. Over there? Okay.
That way. No, this way.
That way. Right there?
Right there.
Right here?
All right. Sharon says, so if you have an injury from 1992, have an OWCP number, only received one payment, now on Social Security Disability, can you get a schedule award present day of 2021?
Yes. According to Eric Blowers, the only thing that would disqualify you from getting it is if you're no longer living. It sounds to me that you don't fit into that category, so I think you're good to go.
Latrice Childs said, what happens if your supervisor claims that you have a reoccurrence instead of a new injury? What should I do?
Ask to see your supervisor's medical license, and if they have one, see if they can write good narratives. They're not going to be able to have either of those or be able to do that, so go to your doctor instead. And here's the deal with CA2As. Recurrences. You don't know if it's a recurrence. Your supervisor definitely doesn't know if it's a recurrence. I've got, in both of my knees, I've got reconstructed ACL ligaments. And if I were to hurt my knee again in that same space, I wouldn't know if that was the ACL or the PCL. And I'm pretty good at this. And so I'm sure your supervisor doesn't, and neither do you. So what you do is you go to the doctor and say, hey, doc, is this a recurrence of the old injury, or is this something new? If it's something new, then you fill out a CA1 or CA2 based on how the new thing happened, whether in a single shift or multiple shifts. But don't assume it's a recurrence until your doctor says it's a recurrence.
Yeah. Okay, so this is for James.
And I'm sorry, that happens all the time. And supervisors do that all the time. Supervisors say recurrence. Recurrences get denied probably like 60% of the time, which is unacceptable. We get claims accepted like 95+% of the time. Anything that gets denied 60% of the time is not okay. So you use it as a last resort, not a first resort.
Yeah. James Colbert and everybody else asking about the locations that we currently have.
We're going to list them too.
That we have the doctors. As far as the doctors, the new ones that Chris just stated, we don't know what cities they're coming to. All we know is Portland and Seattle. That's it.
Well, some of them. I know that I've got one in Chicago.
Yeah, like we don't know the addresses
and one's coming
yet.
to Montgomery. I don't have the addresses.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
We don't have any addresses except for the 6 that we have on board currently.
And you can find those at federalinjurycenters.com.
But until, these doctors just signed and they have to go through the training process. So we don't know any of that.
But it's okay. Hey, you know what? I love that there's some excitement about this because I'm excited about it. This has been hard. If you've seen the movie The Founder, it was the making of McDonald's. The McDonald's brothers say this thing. They say, well, we were an overnight success, years in the making. Well, this that we're having right now was years in the making, and there's going to be a couple more months of training that goes with it. But thank God that we're here at the point where we can actually train doctors in all these states.
Miriam said, I have never heard of an MMI. My doctor said there's nothing else he can do for me. I was released with restrictions. My office can't offer me work because of my restrictions. I'm currently getting OWCP pay based on my pay for my original injury in 2017 when I was a CCA.
That's right.
I'm a regular now. Not sure if that changes.
Well, your pay will change as soon as you're, completely off OWCP. Then you'll come back and they'll probably adjust your pay then. But, if you're at maximum medical improvement, you need to see somebody about that, because now, and it sounds like that's what your doctor said, now you need to get an impairment rating. I don't know. What did she say your injury is? Did she say? I don't know what your injury is, unless you said it there. I don't think you did. Mm-mm. And so if it's spinal, you may not be eligible for one. So, that could be an issue.
Crystal said, if you have applied for Social Security disability, should you still apply for a schedule award, or will there be an offset?
No, there won't be. So don't worry about that. You just can't have your schedule award at the same time as OWCP benefits. That's it.
Rosa said, who does the impairment ratings? Does it have to be with the doctors you have surgery, or another doctor?
It needs to be by a doctor who's qualified to do it. It doesn't have to be by your surgeon.
Paul and Courtney Kendall. That's cute. We should do a Gini and Chris Facebook page together.
I mean, my page basically is your page.
No, it's not. Said, I need help. I'm so thankful for you guys. Emmy,
Hey,
Jennifer,
we're thankful for you.
And Kami, if you guys could reach out to Paul and Courtney Kendall, please, and see what kind of help we could help him with.
Hey, hold on. Before we go any farther, it occurred to me that we missed something very important. So I looked at her shirt.
No, I was going to do it at the end.
I want to do it now.
No. All right. Gina said, oh my God, get over the dogs. I know.
No, it's okay. I appreciate that people are concerned, but nobody's more concerned than I am.
Yeah, we don't like the screaming and howling.
And she has stopped. So either,
Narayan has it under control.
I was going to say something. People might actually believe me. Everything's fine. I think she finally went to sleep.
Any doctors in Buffalo yet? Nope.
No,
not yet.
I almost had one on the hook, but he got off.
Yeah. Pook Dilla said, I had an injury in 2016. Never claimed doctor's visits or schedule award. What do I need to do to receive an award for the right ankle?
Go back to your doctor and say so.
That's it?
Yeah, I mean, this person's still alive. They're eligible.
Ron Speakman said, I think management sent my electronic signature on a CA2A. I never filled that out. Is that allowed?
No. So there's a rule that says anybody in connection with a OWCP claim who files a false or fraudulent statement can be fined, imprisoned, or both. That doesn't sound like that's okay.
No.
So I would start by going to the union and saying something about it. I would file an EEO claim and tell them about it, talk to an EEO counselor about it. And, don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Start with your union, though.
And, Ron, if you go back, I think like 2 or 3 videos ago, we had a huge, or maybe like in January, we did a big live, I think it was like 2 hours almost, on supervisors, all the rules and laws and regulations. So you may want to go back and watch that video. Yeah. They're all labeled as to what video they are. And so we do talk about when supervisors change CA1, CA2s without your knowledge and signing papers and all this stuff. So we will do another supervisor.
They're my favorite. We'll definitely do them.
Discussion again, but for now, go back to the video and look for supervisor.
And
video.
Also check out book 1 of Breaking OWCP. It's chapter 16, page 121, rules, laws, and regulations.
Yep.
The most important ones are there. I would definitely know those.
Jessica Galloway says, if the second opinion doc says I will never go back to my pre-injury job, yet OWCP offer shows capable of doing your job, then what?
Well, the job offer they give you has got to match your doctor's orders, your doctor's restrictions on the CA-17 and whatever narrative report your doctor's writing. So they have to match up, but get help from your union with that and make sure that you're being protected. That's why you have unions. You're being protected by them. So involve them in cases like this because they're as interested in you being safe as I am and as your doctor is.
Yeah. Latrice, what do you do if you got denied twice for your original case?
Go again.
There's nothing wrong. If you keep getting a denial, it'll get fixed. And that's another video we did. If you want to look and go down just click the video on our Wednesday night chats page and it's all there. And we talked about what happens when you get a denial and how it can be fixed. So understand it can be fixed. You can get 30 denials. We can get it fixed.
I never know when she's done talking. Her sentences are so long.
No, just kidding.
But if you check out chapter 10 in the first book, page 82, it says reconsideration of denials. The most important thing I can tell you is to file for reconsideration. If you file for anything else, you're really, really hamstringing yourself. So take a look at that.
Regina O'Neill says, hi, had an injury in 2015. When do I file a schedule award?
Okay, I'm so happy this question came up. You file for schedule award when your doctor says you're at maximum medical improvement. It's a medical decision. You file for it as soon as your doctor says that you're at MMI. At that point, your doctor does an impairment rating based on the 6th edition to permanent impairment. It's an AMA, American Medical Association book. They take the impairment percentage, put it in a narrative report. You attach that report to your CA7, claim for compensation, select letter D, schedule award, and send that bad boy off. The problem is the second page has to be filled out by your supervisor, so get that done. Make copies of everything for yourself because it'll be sent into DOL, and they'll have 5 days to send that in, the supervisor is.
And what if the doctor doesn't know what an MMI is? How the heck are they going to know what a schedule award is?
That's right, they're not, so you're going to have to go find somebody else. This is your money, okay? So don't set it at a red light forever. Sometimes you're going to have to run it.
Rosa said, so we ask for the medical disability through our USPS job, or do we apply for that on our own?
For medical disability? Okay.
So, wait. Yeah, medical disability.
Okay, so disability has a different meaning in this, okay? That's through the Office of Personnel Management, and it's disabled from that job. Somebody could be a letter carrier, and they're disabled from being a letter carrier. It doesn't mean they can't be a clerk. It doesn't mean they can't make sandwiches at Subway, okay? It doesn't mean you can't start your own home business. It just means you can't be a letter carrier, so that's very important. And that's not about your agency either, okay? That's just, you could become disabled because you got sick having nothing to do with work. Or like, you know, my book says, you could have been on a fishing trip and have your arm bitten off by a shark. Had nothing to do with work. That would cause you to be on disability.
Yep. Andrea says, sorry, but one more question. It's okay, guys.
Don't be sorry. That's what we're doing this for.
This is why we
Andrea,
are doing
keep
this.
them coming.
Sorry, but one more question. My attorney is the one whom set this up with the doctor. Will it be the attorney that submits the CA7 with the impairment rating document?
Well, technically, the impairment rating and the CA7 have to go through the supervisor to get in. However, like I said, make copies because I'm quite certain your supervisor is going to want to do something with it. Not supervisor, your lawyer.
Yeah.
Your lawyer.
Yvonne Gross said, what about the arm? It's 365 weeks.
The arm?
Yeah. And then Jerry said, shoulder, rotator, cuff, bicep.
While I'm looking this up, I'm going to say a special hello to Jennifer Turnbull. I saw that she's watching.
Jennifer?
Mm-hmm. Hi,
Jennifer, hi! I hope it's the right one.
So the arm is 312 weeks. Yeah. Yeah.
Shoulder, rotator, cuff, bicep.
That's the arm.
Okay. Jerry Gatewood. Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Jerry's so sweet. Jerry follows me on all my pages. She was on my makeup one, and she's like, I have to go now. I have my appointment. I'll come back and watch your video after.
We really love Jerry.
We love Jerry.
We love a lot of you. Don't get me wrong. Those of
No.
you that we don't know yet, I'm sure we love you too.
We love
But
all
we love
of you.
Jerry.
Don't listen to him. He loves certain people. I love y'all. Jerry Gatewood said, is there one just for the knee, or is it considered leg?
It's leg. It's leg. But the 6th edition to permanent impairment takes the whole person and brings it down to the, to that body area. But yeah, that's part of leg.
Ron Speakman says, I'm interested in getting my orthopedic doctor's office on board with the Schedule Award 6th edition training and Doctor for Us. How do we get this done? I have a nightmare situation I'm still going through, and I want to make sure no one else goes through what I'm going through. How can I help?
If you want to help your doctor get trained, I applaud you. Go to Google and search, because there are some online courses that take like a weekend. Ask your doctor to go to, search 6th edition impairment rating training. Okay, 6th edition impairment rating training. And they'll find online courses they can take. And I recommend it.
Yeah, because like I said before, all the doctors that we have trained or the ones that we are training now with the franchise, they will have to know the 6th edition if they don't already.
And I don't train doctors to do impairment ratings because it's medical. Mm-hmm. And there's medical decision making. Instead, I say, hey, doc, look, get that purple book and read it and take a class.
Yeah.
And once they've done that, they're allowed to do schedule awards for us.
Sharon, we do not have a list of doctors in D.C.
No, but hang on. Hang on there. Stand by.
Cortina Smith said, okay, I was injured 7 months and I'm not getting paid. I'm told OWCP only paying for the medical. What should I do?
Well, if your claim is accepted and you're not getting paid, first of all, your claim has to be accepted. So let's assume it is. You fill out your CA7, claim for compensation. You might fill out a 7A. It's a time analysis form. And to that, you have to attach documentation. If you're not sending in the documentation, you're not getting paid. I talked a lot about that in the first book because too many people weren't getting paid. And I said, let's solve the problem. So I'm going to tell you here what's in the book. You need to attach a CA17 where the doctor took you off of work. You need to attach printouts of any doctor's appointments or PT appointments or MRI appointments that you've been to signed by the licensed person that was there supervising your care. You need to attach a form CA20. All these CA forms you can find at federalinjurycenters.com by clicking on the OWCP forms tab at the top of the page. But most importantly, and this is missed all the time because it's not in the rules, but they started doing it and we picked up on it. Claims examiners started denying because there wasn't a disability narrative explaining why you're off of work. So have your doctor write a narrative explaining why you're off of work. What's the medical rationale for you being off of work? Attach those 4 things to your CA7 and turn that in, and your odds of getting paid go way up.
Remy Powell says, can I go to a different doctor to get an impairment report written if he wasn't the treating doctor?
Absolutely. People do it all the time. In fact, I know of a doctor where people fly from all parts of the country to get to, and he's definitely not their treating doctor.
Prakash says, I had a rotator cuff surgery in 2018, but it didn't work well. I have a re-tear and need to do another surgery, which is already approved, but due to the coronavirus, I've had to have it held. Meanwhile, I have to see an OWCP recommended doctor for a second opinion. My doctor writes on my CA17 that I'm medically unable to work. But the second opinion doctor wrote in his report that I can do pushing, pulling, lifting for 8 hours with 10 pounds. I have a tear on another shoulder also, but it's not accepted yet. I'm going to my treating doctor next week with a copy of the second opinion doctor. Whose report will be considered by OWCP, my treating doctor or the second opinion?
Well, they're going to naturally, I think, put the weight with the second opinion, which is why your treating doctor has got to do such a great job. Your treating doctor's got to look at that second opinion report and write a narrative that refutes all the negative stuff in there that's not right. And it's got to be backed up by facts. So just have your doctor do a really good job and make sure that gets sent in.
Devereaux Phoenix said the 6th edition only allows for a 9% impairment. What's that all about?
Well, the 6th edition does not only allow for 9% on all body parts, so I'm not really sure where you're coming from on that. I'm really sorry. I just know that I've seen percentages far higher than that.
Paul Landgraf said, my primary treating surgeon at the office I go to retired. The surgeon she referred me to also works at that office. Am I able to get a new surgeon being I was seen at another practice and must use the referring surgeon in that office?
No, you can be referred to another surgeon. That's what I would do.
Joan Power says, can you only receive a schedule award for an injury that was approved?
Yes.
Yes.
That's bottom line. If your injury was not approved, you can't get a schedule award because by not approving it, they said this isn't work-related and it has to be work-related for you to get a schedule award. And
she also said, I could not get my carpal tunnel approved and had the surgery on my own. Does my hand qualify?
Your hand qualifies. I'm sorry, I'm just going back to the chart again. Talk amongst yourself.
Carrie, you said Portland and Seattle, much needed. I always feel a day late and $1 short. We're coming, guys. We are coming.
The hand is 244 weeks. It's one of the higher number of weeks on the chart. And by the way, if your claim wasn't approved for your carpal tunnel, go again. Go again. Go again. Keep fighting until you get it approved.
You know, a lot of you are saying you don't want surgery. Maybe you should consider a stem cell or PRP as an option.
But we really can't say that.
I'm just saying
we're not doctors, so we don't recommend anything. Talk to your doctor about it.
I'm not getting surgery. I'm getting stem cell.
That's us. But you talk to your doctor and do what's right for you.
Rosa said, thank you. Dogs are fine, just being spoiled. Yes, they are being spoiled.
No, she's been spoiled too much, and that's why she cries when I'm not in the room.
Carrie said, so thankful for your knowledge.
Well, thanks, Carrie. We're thankful for you.
Doctors in Cali yet? Rosa, I know. Trust me, you'll be the first one I tell when we have California.
Yeah.
Let's see, Gizmo. Gizmo is not doing well.
No, he's off hiding from his little sister.
From his big little sister. As you guys have seen my Facebook page with the doggy pictures, Ellie took over his spot on mommy and daddy's bed, and he's not happy.
That was his choice. He decided not to come back, so maybe he'll come back later.
Ron said, I already have an approved case for shoulder impingement syndrome from last year. Been working up to January 18th, been off since. Did therapy, shots, rest, and off work, but still problems. Can't work till I get surgery, and can't get surgery because it's not approved yet. Yeah. Also, I never filled out a CA2A, but when I got a letter last week, they said they got one signed by me. Can my employer sign my electronic signature? It's not reoccurring injury.
No,
Ron, this is what we're saying.
This makes me nuts. This happens too often. Go to your union, file a grievance, talk to EEO. Don't let your supervisors do this. That you can't you can't falsify a signature on any document. But this is a document associated with a work injury. That makes that a crime according to the law. So don't let them get away with it.
We know a lot of people that have gotten in big trouble for deleting information, putting some other information, signing, submitting, not submitting. So please go watch, Ron, that our live that we did on supervisors. This will explain the whole thing to you.
You know what a lot of people do? I never recommend this, but I'm telling you that a lot of people contact their congressperson. And when the congressperson gets involved, the top person in the district offices of OWCP have to handle it themselves. And then things start happening. I'm not saying that's your next option, but just remember it might be an option in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like, contact the NBA, contact your union officials, contact your district rep,
I start with the union,
everything.
Though.
Yeah.
I always start with the union. The union is there to help with this and a lot of other things. That's where I start. But, look, I wrote these books because I'm really tired of you all getting hosed when you get a claim. I say this now, that the injury is not as painful as the process. And, your process is not made better when someone forges your signature. That's ridiculous. So don't allow it.
Yeah.
Go through the steps of and remove these supervisors.
And don't be scared of retaliation, because there are laws to back you up on that as well.
Yeah, it's illegal for them to retaliate.
Jody Goodwin said, I have a spinal injury with radiating down my leg and foot. Would that count as a leg injury?
Yeah, potentially. That's what I'm talking about. So again, I'm not a doctor. What you have to do is go to your doctor, get the diagnostics, get the report written, attach that to your CA7 and see what happens. But yeah, that's how it works. If it has radiating symptoms into the limbs, they're supposed to cover that.
Kashella Griffin? That's such a pretty name.
Yeah.
The lawyer my employer is using is claiming that my central canal stenosis and thoracic outlet syndrome are caused by my psychological issues, depression, and anxiety.
Your agency is using a lawyer? Huh. Well, I need to see that lawyer's medical license too. So what I would do is just go back and fall back on what your expert doctors are saying. And what the lawyers think really is not going to matter. All legitimate claims should be approved. All legitimate diagnoses should be approved. And no lawyer can stand in between, you and your doctor getting legitimate claims approved. I wouldn't even think twice about that.
Lori said, sorry if this has already been asked. I just got on. It's okay. You guys can repeat.
No, bring it. Someone else needs to hear this.
How long do we have to file for a schedule award after surgery?
Okay. So that's a variation of questions that have been asked, but it hasn't been asked like that. So that was a good question. You don't have any time frame to wait after surgery. Regardless of the treatment you've had, including surgery, you get a schedule award when your doctor says, now you're at maximum medical improvement. And that could be, I don't even know. It could be a long time after surgery. It could be right after surgery. But the point is, it's a medical decision. There's no time frame that could be put on that. It's certainly not in writing.
Felicia Craig says, okay, I was injured back in August, filed OWCP on it in January, no payment. I'm out on leave, so no pay. Still says under construction on eComp. Is there anything I could do to help speed things up? I have a cubital fracture on my right foot.
Call your claims examiner as often as you feel comfortable. The squeaky wheel gets oiled. Be the squeaky wheel.
Latrice said, what if your supervisor never did an accident report and you informed her of your injury? I also gave her a doctor's report.
Well, I mean, whether or not they did an accident report shouldn't affect your ability to get a claim approved. They needed to have filled out your CA1 or CA2 with you. And you have 3 years from the date of injury to report and fill that out. So that's what needed to happen. And if it hasn't been done yet, that's what you need to concern yourself with. Get that CA form filled out and get copies of it and get it to your doctor. And because it doesn't matter if your doctor has a narrative report, if the CA1 or CA2, whichever you needed, hasn't been sent to Department of Labor, you don't even have a 9-digit case number. So get that done.
Victor Sanchez says, management were trained to mismanage.
So maybe those managers, in each of my books, I've got a section for managers as well. And, I come from a management background. I have a master's degree in management. And, I know a lot about it. And while your people may have been trained to do that, that's not good management, obviously. And I tell the managers in this book, here's how you can be a superstar in OWCP. And it's basically, hey, follow the rules. Just follow the rules. They're in writing. They're written in English. Most of us read that.
Yeah, Victor and Latrice, like I said, go back, maybe I think like January, just go back to our Wednesday night page afterwards.
Look at the videos.
Go to the videos tab and scroll down. We did like a 2-hour talk on supervisors and management where Chris took them out behind the woodshed that night.
What's funny about going and look at all the videos is that so like a couple of our sons knows how to make what's called a thumbnail. It would be like a picture that you see. Well, we don't do that, and so all
our
of ours,
is like...
there's like a freeze frame of like you can just go and each one of them it's like, oh, what was I thinking in that facial expression?
So that's why I was like, smile at the beginning.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Jill said, I want to thank you for saying the best way to get a check is to go back to work. They have to give me reasonable accommodation, and I'm going to go get that for now, unless I get worse.
Yeah, I say that all the time, Jill, as you know, and I'm sure you read it in the book. The surest way to get paid is to clock in because there are payday laws that govern that. But when you are off of work, even when your claim is approved, you have to jump through hoops to get paid. Like I said, you have to attach those 4 pieces documentation to your CA7 to even have a chance. And then they may still deny you, even though the denial is bogus. Then you got to fight it. So the easiest way to get paid is to get on the clock.
Yeah. Deborah, you said no response. So you guys are shooting questions faster than I'm reading them. So it's a small delay. So please understand that. So if I didn't answer your question, read your question, Deborah, please send it to me again.
Yeah, and check it out. We're going to be typing in answers to these questions too, even after the fact. And so just hang tight. Our goal is to answer every question.
Tiffany Taka said, my original CA1 was not sent to DOL.
Whoops.
And the CA1 that was sent in has false times on it. It was originally approved and then denied 3 months later due to times being changed. I have a shoulder injury. I'm a mail carrier. I'm denied limited duty. I'm now waiting on an appeal. My manager said she is not the one that sent the CA1 in. No income for 3 months and continuing.
So you need to call Eric Blowers. And I don't say this often, but you need to call Eric Blowers. Now, maybe Eric's going to say, this is a very simple thing you do. Go do that. You don't have to pay me. But you need to call Eric Blowers. Then you also need to go to your union president and let them know what happened and file grievances. And then you need to go and file an EEO claim or at least talk to an EEO counselor. And then you need to call OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA. And even if you've missed your time frame for doing it, you need to tell somebody your story. Because, and by the way, when you have these things happen to you, you need to call these agencies like right away.
Yeah,
call
don't
OSHA,
wait, guys.
Call OSHA today when these things happen. Call EEO today and call your union today when these things happen. Don't wait 6 months down the line until you're so, fed up that you just got to tell somebody it's too late. So, but go ahead and do it anyways. Let's start ringing the bell really loud that this stuff is happening. And, you guys fight back.
Yeah. Ron Jackson said, is there a time limit to pay the award?
No. Well, once it's approved, they start paying it. The key is getting them to approve it, and there's no time frame with which to have to approve it. So that's right back where you got to call your claims examiner as often as you're comfortable and ask what the heck is going on.
Portal Maria said, does your doctor do MMI or the specialist?
Whichever one knows how and is trained can do it.
Ron Speakman said, thank you guys. I appreciate you. I'll get the book and talk with my union and Eric as well. And I'll view those videos tomorrow. Thanks again. Great info.
Yeah, and let me tell all of you, I'm happy for you to get the book, but the book is there so that you learn from it. If your unions schedule us to do a Zoom meeting, So a lot of the locals have started back up meeting virtually, and they're starting to invite us. We have 4 others that are scheduled right now.
Yeah, and speaking of the Zoom meeting, those 4 of you, I think there was 2 from AFGE and 2 from USPS somewhere. You guys need to get me those dates and times to get that scheduled, because we want to lock you in, because if somebody else decides to take that date, you know, we'll have to go with whoever sends me the email as to when.
We can't overlap. So, but when your unions, your locals, invite us on to do a training, I'm always happy to do it. I love doing it, but I'm going to send free books to every union that does that, because I want you to be motivated to get the training, because you all know, listen to all these questions that are happening here. You clearly need the training. That's when we do this. But it gives me an opportunity to focus it in on what specific problems you're having in your specific stations, and I want to be able to do that.
Rosa said, I got my work comp pay stopped because there was a discrepancy in the work hours. Now I have to fight for my cause to be paid again. What do you recommend, reconsideration or appeal?
Reconsideration is a form of appeal, and it's the only form that I ever recommend.
John...
I'm sorry, hold on. The work hours and stuff, look, when you turn in your CA7 and potentially your 7A, you and your supervisor had stuff to fill out. For all the rest of you, this is why I recommend you get copies of it and you review it yourself and make sure it's correct. Yep. So there's no discrepancies in hours and stuff. You know, we don't want that.
John said, I was told by my doctor to wait until I retire to file for a schedule award.
There's no reason for that.
Does that sound right?
No. No, it sounds like you should file for schedule award when it's time to file it. And, you know, like I said, you can't get schedule award benefits and OWCP benefits at the same time. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe your doctor's saying, wait till your OWCP benefits run out. In that case, I probably agree. But you don't wait just for the sake of waiting on retirement.
Vanessa Shepard said, I never received a schedule award for surgery of Achilles tendon reconstruction in 2016. I never knew there was such a thing.
I know.
This is why we tell you guys to come here.
Yeah, I know. This happens all the time.
What do I do now?
So go back to your doctor and tell him that you want a 6th edition impairment rating. And I said tell not him, because I'm aware that some doctors are girls too. But let your doctor know that you need a 6th edition impairment rating, and you need to get the report and attach it to a CA7. That's not too late. As long as you're living, it's not too late. And the foot is 205 weeks. It's one of the higher ones on the chart. That's the Achilles. It's part of the foot.
Andrea says, what's the difference between the 5th and 6th edition?
Getting paid everything, getting paid nothing. The 5th gets you paid nothing. The rules are 6th edition only. So it almost doesn't matter what the difference is. It's not allowed. Only the 6th edition is allowed. That's really important to know.
Rosa said, can it be possible to post a pic of the amount of weeks per part, arm, wrist, etc. until I get the book?
Okay, so I want all of you, whether you have the book or not, to write this down. Go to Google and search OWCP Schedule Award Chart. OWCP Schedule Award Chart. You'll find it. It'll be at the top of Google.
Do you guys understand with the schedule award, it equals a money to you?
That's why this is such a big deal, and why so many people are still hanging around watching and so many questions. And this is a big topic, and I understand it's confusing. Even I'm confused occasionally because it's confusing.
Yeah.
And I literally wrote the books on it. So it's confusing.
So the importance of getting a schedule award. Okay, this doesn't go for everybody, but we had somebody that we know, they were waiting and waiting. Their thumb wasn't working anymore. I can't remember what happened. She got 30,000 on her thumb. But again, that's not for everybody.
Results not typical.
Right. So it is important to understand that a schedule award equals money for you. Please understand that. And this is what those of you that are on here saying you didn't even know what that meant. This is what it means.
And the thumb is worth 75 weeks all by itself. If there's any hand issues, there's another 244 weeks.
So the weeks equals fill in the blank.
It's a way of multiple payment. It's for how long they're going to pay you.
Carolyn Thompson said, didn't you guys say you have doctors in Chicago? Yes, we got one coming.
He just signed up. He's just starting the credentialing process, and he'll start the training process next week. These things take time. That's why our doctors are so good, because we're fanatical about this process. We're fanatical about training. That's why when they start seeing you, they start immediately getting cases accepted. Our first cases aren't denials. Our first cases are approvals, looking for the next approvals and the next ones and the next ones. But it's because we're fanatical about training.
Carrie said, schedule awards? Don't even know what all that means.
Well, welcome to the party, Carrie. Schedule award is just another way of saying you're getting paid for your impairment. So you should go back and watch this from the beginning, or go to breakingowcp.com, breakingowcp.com, where each of these 2 books, when you buy them together, they're only $22. Each of the 2 books has chapters on schedule awards with slightly different information.
Mike Lucero said, who are you guys again?
Hey, Mike. I don't know you either. I don't know you either. Great to see you again.
Devereaux Phoenix said, please let them know that the arms and hands are all upper extremities and payments will be combined, not an individual payment for separate limbs.
No, but what it is that when you do the 6th edition, if you do a 6th edition impairment for the wrist and a 6th edition for the elbow and a 6th edition for the shoulder, those percentages get plugged into the same formula with the number of weeks for the arm. It's correct. You don't get to multiply the number of weeks times 3, but those percentages could be cumulative and then multiplied by those weeks one time. That's a great point, and that's why this is so complicated. But when you get the second book and you plug it in the formula, it makes it a little easier, because right now we're just kind of talking almost in the abstract. But at least with this, you can actually see it and fill in the blanks yourself.
Cindy said, when you say 244 weeks for the arm, does that mean that's the longest you can collect benefits for that injury?
Well, what I'm saying is that's a multiple they use to calculate your award. Okay? But then they'll pay it out over that number of weeks.
Why did I pause? I paused.
Now we're good.
Well, not me. So, Yvonne Holland, Yvonne Holland says, they changed the weeks drastically. It's 365, now it's 312. And Patty Plummer said, how do they figure chronic pain?
Well, pain is not a rateable condition. Pain is not even an accepted diagnosis. So I'm sorry to tell you that. Like, there's a lot of doctors that say the diagnosis is lumbago or cervicalgia, which are pain diagnoses, or low back pain. Well, those are just denied. They don't really consider that, sadly, because pain is subjective. Where I think something is an 8, some of you way tougher women might think that's just a 2.
Jennifer says, hi, what a big surprise to see both of you. I'm in my bed. Jennifer, we miss you.
So now she says something. Hey, Jennifer.
Okay, Devereaux. Devereaux said the 6th edition only pays 9% impairment, even though you cannot use your limbs for whatever. This is what is being told to injured employees.
Well,
it's not
I don't know who's telling you
correct.
that. But I've been involved. Look, again, like I said, I'm not a medical person. I don't do impairment ratings. But I've been involved in so many of these where the impairments were so much higher. So I'm sorry that you were told that. But go to a doctor that's trained in this, and they'll show you that it's 9 is not the highest.
Yeah.
But what? That's an example of misinformation that goes out all the time. Everything is misinformation. I thought I only had 30 days to file my claim, or I thought I couldn't get paid if it's a CA2 or
Devereaux, we hear
it all this time.
We hear this all the time. Like, somebody called and asked me, how long do I have to file my injury? I said, you have 3 years. And she said, no, you're wrong. My supervisor said 30 days. And she goes, well, I'm not going to believe you guys over my supervisor. But, oh well, we told her, carry on then.
But in this book, I gave you 2 places in the law that says it is 3 years. And that's the thing. There's a lot of misinformation. But, if you come here, you can fairly well rely. Look, I'm not perfect. I've been stumped from time to time because this is a complicated system. But you can be fairly certain that I'm going to give you a pretty good answer.
Yeah. We're not on here to make things up and lie to you guys and tell you things that are not true. So when we're telling you these things and he's correcting some of you, it's because we have the knowledge and he's read the OWCP manual from top to bottom. How many pages? 23,000 pages? I don't know.
I'm just kind of a nerd like that.
Jessica Galloway. Okay, another question. The second opinion doctor places me at permanently sedentary. So how long do they get that? I can go back to carrying mail.
Well, if you're on permanent sedentary, you won't be able to carry the mail because the mail is a heavier job, much, much heavier. So if you're at permanent sedentary, I can't imagine how you'd ever be able to carry the mail or how your supervisor would even let you do it.
Marilyn said, I've been hurt since March of last year. I've been out now since January. Now I have a herniated disc that is pinching my nerve and scheduled surgery, and OWCP is still saying I haven't presented proof of injury.
Yeah. Was there a question? Because I'm ready to go. So that's happening because your doctor didn't write a narrative report that explained, how those conditions came on, how they're related to the job, the specific diagnostics. Your narrative report was bad. And this is it's like the second thing, maybe the first or second thing we teach doctors is how to write these narrative reports beautifully so the claims get approved.
Yeah.
But if you were denied, it was 100% because the narrative report by the doctor wasn't thorough enough.
Yeah, you guys, you're saying that I'm not answering. I'm not reading your questions.
Oh,
and
we're
not
trying.
answering. We are getting it, not the same speed that you guys are getting it. So as it's coming, I'm just reading it. So please be patient.
And it takes me a little time to answer. So, but hold on. There, I answered the last one. I hope you all got that one.
What are you on?
Just go.
Carolyn Thompson said, is there a doctor who can treat me as well as write a schedule award in Chicago? Don't want to use the present doctor.
Then give me a couple of months, and I'll be able to say, yes, 100% that's going to happen. I already told him he has to brush up on his 6th edition skills. It's required.
Yeah. Sharon says, stem cell don't work, sis. Been there, done that.
Hey, we're not medical people. I'll tell you, I had it done.
He had it done, and it worked. I had it done for my hair.
But,
it's working.
But it's okay that some people it doesn't work on them because not everything works on everybody.
Carol Strait said, can you get back your sick leave you use with an injury before your claim is approved?
Not before your claim is approved. Once your claim is approved, I'm just making sure I'm thorough. Once your claim is approved, you can go back and do leave buyback. Yes, you can get it back.
Devereaux said, can someone call me, please? Jennifer
Yes.
or Emmy, please, can you get Devereaux's info? Devereaux, go ahead and message us on our messenger on Wednesday night chats, and we'll have Jennifer or Emmy or Kami reach out to you. She said,
it definitely sounds like you need some help, and I want you to get the help.
yeah, she said, so can someone please call me? I need your doctor or attorney because someone's lying to me. I will contact Attorney Blowers.
Perfect.
The Department of Labor is sickening when it comes to us injured employees. We know that. This
Yeah.
is why we are here.
And yes, call Attorney Blowers because Eric is exactly who you go to when everything else goes wrong. He's who you go to.
Angela said, thank you for the awesome information always.
You're welcome.
Victor Sanchez says, is that a Buccaneers cup?
Well, it is, as you know. Okay, so you may not know, I'm actually from Dallas, and I would love nothing more than to be holding a blue and silver cup from Super Bowl champions. But now I live in Tampa, and this just happened. So, I got this now. I'm not exactly a bandwagoner, though. I'm a sports fan. In 1998,
tell them your story.
I was a volunteer strength trainer for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I spent training camp living with them, eating with them, training with them, and watching them watch pro wrestling and try to reenact it out in the college dorm at University of Tampa. So I've got a connection to Tampa, and I always said I wanted to live here. From the first time I came when I was 22, I wanted to live here.
And I don't want to live here.
But thankfully, I found her so that I could have a reason to come. So
to pack my bags and get back home.
But yeah,
to
all
Utah.
that is to say, yeah, that's a Tampa mug right there.
Yvonne said, I filed for my first schedule award in 1999. My doctor said 20%. Second opinion doctor said 36%. Great for me.
Second opinion doctor never does that. The claims examiner is probably losing her mind.
Joan Power said, if I eventually get carpal tunnel approved, would I be able to get reimbursed for my cost of surgery I already had?
Oh, yeah. It's called an OWCP 915. That's another form you can get from my website, federalinjurycenters.com. And absolutely, you just have to attach documentation to it of what you paid and make sure that you've got pre-authorization from the claims examiner, even after the fact. Now that the claim is approved, get that surgery pre-authorized after the fact. It's called retro-authorization. And then send in for your 915 form.
Russell Dennis says, does herniated disc with pinched nerve causing numbness down the leg to the big toe qualify for a schedule award?
Yeah, most probably it does. Go to your doctor and confirm, but that's the situation that you most typically see when someone gets an impairment rating or a schedule award from a spine. It's because those things are happening in the limbs.
Tiffany, I want to tell you, we care if no one else cares, okay?
Oh, yeah.
She said rural carrier union does not care.
Okay, so I don't want to say that they don't. I know a lot of rural carrier union presidents and vice presidents that
They do.
I'm very close with them, and I know that they share my same values and goals. I don't speak for the entire union, but there are many of them that I can speak for.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry you're going through that, but if you call us, you'll definitely find somebody who cares.
Phyllis Green said an employee got hurt going back to their car after they clocked out. The parking lot was not cleaned. The employee filed a claim and was denied. What recourse does that employee have?
Well, file a reconsideration on the appeal and have a doctor write a better report. That's something that should be covered.
Ramon Gonzalez, don't forget me. I didn't. I think I read your stuff, right? Kishelle Griffin said, yes, I'm a state employee. Oh, okay. Miss Griffin, you're a state employee. What we're doing here is federal work comp. So...
Unless you're maybe mistaken and you work for the post office or the VA or TSA or Border Patrol or you're a civilian on a base, there's a lot of situations where you're federal and you may not even know you're federal.
Sue Boston said, so I've been assigned a rehab specialist to help me find a new job because the post office doesn't have the job that meets my restrictions. I'm currently on OWCP at MMI. Should I be looking for a job on my own? I think I need to talk with you guys. With you. I don't know where I got you guys from.
All right, so check it out. That's Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sue. We've been working with her for quite a while. That's a personal decision, first of all. If you're no longer able to do your federal job, then maybe you qualify, and this is maybe you qualify for disability, because you can't do that job anymore. They're trying to get you to do another job. So if you're planning on going outside and finding another job, you may want to consider filing for disability at the same time to beef up your income. I hate that for you, but I think you should give us a call and maybe even give Eric a call, and we'll try to give you some guidance. But understand, I'm not going to try to persuade you to do something that's personal to you, but I can tell you what your options are.
Kathy Monica said, can I use an impairment rating from 10 years ago? I cannot find a doctor in New Jersey who does them.
Well, if your injury's from 10 years ago, you can do an impairment rating regardless of that if your claim was ever accepted. Can you use an impairment rating that happened 10 years ago? I'm not even sure what that means. Attach it to the schedule award if it's valid and see what they say, but I would hope you would have done that already. Maybe I'm a little confused. It happens.
Sharon says, can OWCP close your case because they closed mine and did not contact me and now I'm on disability retirement?
They can. There's a few ways that they can do it, but you can get it reopened simply by going to a doctor, getting a narrative report, explaining why you still need treatment, and getting pre-authorization.
After going back to work, is there a time limit to file to get a schedule award?
Nope.
And Emmy or Jennifer, if you're on, can you see what Rosa said when she, if you can help her? I went to work for 3 days, contracted COVID. Is that a work comp case? And if so, how long do I have to make a claim? This happened November 18th, 2020, but sick for 2 months. I haven't filed anything, but I'm curious.
So talk to your union about it, but the rules that they put out were that if you could show, and maybe you didn't even have to show it anymore, but I think initially they were saying if you could show that you contracted it in the course of work, then they'd give you 14 days off to recover. But I would go ahead and get the more current guidance, and I would go to your union for that.
Jerry Thompson said, no time limit on old case for a schedule award?
Nope, as long as you're alive, you're still eligible.
Jessica said, so if I have an old injury from 2015 for ligament tear in my ankle and I still have issues with it, can I go back and get an award for that since they said there was nothing else that could be done medically?
As long as you're alive, you can still go back.
All right.
I'm not being funny about that.
Yeah.
That's the rule, exactly as Eric Blowers told me. People, after you're dead, you can no longer get money for a schedule award. As long as you're still living, you can do it.
Cindy said, when you call EEO, call the number on the posters in your office. Otherwise, It's just someone higher at the post office that doesn't help.
Well, that's right.
Please notify me of USPS Zoom meeting. Okay, we don't plan the Zoom meeting for anybody.
Your unions have to plan it.
Your union, your steward, they need to
It's
reach
your
out
meetings.
to me.
It's your meetings, and we want to be invited to help. You're not obligated to invite us, but if you do, we're going to say yes.
Latrice said, thanks for the valuable information. Very much appreciated.
You're very welcome.
Latrice, thank you for coming on here, and don't forget to share this. We're going to answer just a few more questions, and we're going to
answer 2 more questions because we've got some other stuff to get to, and we've already gone 27 minutes long on purpose. So we're going to 2 more questions.
Ron said, I'm approved for impingement syndrome on the right shoulder, but then diagnosed left shoulder with the same diagnosis. Plus, my carpal tunnel is acting up again. Can all of this be on an original proved case or a new claim?
Well, it depends on how they happened. If you have a right shoulder and the left shoulder is there as a result of the right shoulder, then it gets added to the original case. If it's a new condition, it has its own different case. So everything just depends on how it happened. They can be added, but they're not necessarily going to be. It depends on what the doctor says.
Christina says, how long does it normally take to be awarded a schedule award once it's been requested?
Well, that depends on your claims examiner's ability to get the job done in a timely manner. You may have to call your claims examiner on a regular basis to find out what the status is.
Okay. Ron Jackson said, y'all deserve to be paid for your time and service. Thank you for the information every week.
Well, Ron, thank you, but we that wouldn't be right.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
These are the last two I'm going to do. So Vanessa, first let me answer Devereaux. She said, can you refer me to a doctor in Chicago, Illinois that is familiar with the 6th edition? I'm being robbed. Devereaux, please message me, and as soon as Dr. Archuleo is ready to go, which should be in a couple weeks, we'll get you there.
But we should emphasize here, this is not a referral service. We're going to definitely tell you how you can get a hold of the doctor. This is not what we're here for. We're here to do training, educate you. But you know what? It'd be criminal for me not to tell you the doctors we have. So when we've got one ready to go, I'll let you know, and you can decide if that's who, if you'd like to make that phone call or not.
I'm still confused as to go about getting a schedule award and what it means.
Yeah, no problem. Give us a call tomorrow, 877-787-6927, and somebody will help you with that. All right, so we're going to have to wrap it up because we have something else that's important we want to talk about. I'm going to let you go ahead and start it out tonight.
Okay,
time now.
I'm just scrolling. Okay, hurry up and get our Chicago doctors on board. I need
working
my
on it.
award.
Okay, we're working on it.
She's so cute.
Okay, so you'll notice we're wearing red shirts. And if she doesn't do what she wants to do, I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, so you guys saw on my Facebook page, Chris's Facebook page, or Wednesday Night Chats, and AFGE's page. As you all know, AFGE's national president, Dr. Everett Kelly. Today is his birthday, and he's a very, very special man to us. It's not about anything else. He's just one of the most sincere, sweetest men we know out in the union. And today is his birthday, and we got our shirts. Well, we've had these. You guys have seen us wear #RedForFeds.
Which is an AFGE thing.
It's an AFGE thing. Chris got his, and we both got one from Tish, the state president in Florida for the VA. And so we are just representing AFGE even more today.
In honor of Mr. Kelly.
So happy birthday,
we love you very
Mr.
much.
Kelly.
Happy birthday.
And
if you haven't met him, you're really missing out. This really is the most loved man in any room. I've never seen anything like it. It's inspiring. I'm not just saying that. It's very inspiring.
Devereaux says she appreciates this.
You're very welcome.
And Jennifer Turnbull is on here. She was the president of the Miami VA back in the day, and she retired, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. She's a sweet lady.
And Jennifer, it's been too long. The last time we saw you was in Atlanta when we drug your butt out of bed.
We dragged her out of bed.
To come down to the lobby. So, but we really miss you.
Yeah.
And I'd be so wrong if I didn't do this because I love my brother, and today's my brother Brad's birthday too.
Brad.
So happy birthday to my brother Brad Helms. He's a young 41 today.
You told me that you would tell me at the end what to do. Ramon, I'm going to have Jennifer or Emmy or Kami reach out. So everybody that had questions still on here, I know there's a lot still coming in. Between me, Jennifer, Kami, and Emmy, and Chris, we're going to go ahead and answer it off screen.
You'll see them. We'll be typing,
we'll be typing
in the
them in.
comments.
And if it's something personal, go ahead and message us on our Wednesday Night Chats messenger page. Or you can just message me or any one of us on our personal Facebook page.
That's right. And listen, if we missed any of you, we normally go an hour. We went an hour and a half because I knew this was going to be a hot topic. And we definitely try to get to everybody we can, which is why we continue to answer even after we're done. So please hang in there and be patient. I sense that there's a lot of new people here tonight, which makes me really happy because I want to help as many people as possible. And if you're new and you're feeling like maybe you're getting left out, believe me, you'll never get left out. At some point, we're going to help you. You can always call us also, 877-787-6927. And somebody's going to help you, okay? We've got a team of people who answer these questions. We don't just do it here. We do it here every week at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But we do it every day from when we get up to when we go to bed. And then we wake up the next day and we look at the questions from the night before when we were sleeping. So this is all we do. We just help you. And then, some of us also train doctors to help you. So everything we do is to help you because we love you and we know you're going through a lot of stuff. And tonight's an example of that. So, I want to say that this, if this is for you, I want you to go ahead and get these books. I priced them so cheap. Shipping is free. You go to breakingowcp.com, breakingowcp.com, and you can buy the bundle where you get them both for just $22, and I'll mail them out tomorrow. And, the whole point of these books is to give you information that you didn't previously have. And they're so small and easy to read. I mean, those of you that have read it already confirm it took you less than an hour to read. That's the whole point. It's easy. It's simplifying a very complicated system. And the other thing it does, because it's so small, is you can keep it with you when your supervisor tells you something you know is wrong because you spent your 45 minutes to an hour reading the book. You can go back to the page and say, no, but what about this rule right here? You're wrong. So, take a look at that. Come back here every week. We want you to share this with everybody that you know. We want to be able to help all the federal employees nationwide. So share this page by simply hitting the share button, and it'll go to your news feed, and people that it's relevant to will see it. And then go to work and tell your friends. Post something on your bulletin board to watch Wednesday night OWCP chats, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Let people know. The more people we can help, then the more people we'll get to help in the future, because we'll have them telling people as well. So we want to be on here helping as many people as possible, but like I said on my second book, the subtitle is You Are Not Alone, because at least you have me, okay? You have her. You have our whole team. But you can make somebody not feel alone as well by giving them help, by acknowledging you see them limping around, you see them having trouble, they look sad and depressed, and you can do something about it. You can at least point them to us and let us help them. So I really appreciate everybody being here tonight.
Yes.
We're excited about the expansion that we're having with our franchise. The whole purpose of it is to help more of you. My mission is huge. Nobody's ever thought of it before now, but it's to help every federal employee nationwide, to have a doctor within range of all of you in all 50 states. Mm-hmm. And we're working on it, and we're trying to move as fast as we can. This last week, it moved fast. We added 15 new locations in a week.
We don't have any doctors in Georgia as yet.
But you can take a short trip over to Birmingham and Montgomery.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is after this, the girls will answer the questions that we did not get to answer. I think it was like the bottom half questions for the last 5-10 minutes. I'll post all the locations and when they'll be coming. It'll probably say like between 60 to 90 days. So just pay attention to that. If a state is not listed, we do not have a doctor there yet. Number one. Number two, don't forget, those of you that are new on here, don't forget to like, follow, and share. And because if you share and you are our monthly share winner, you will receive a prize. Last month, we gave away 3 $200 gift cards to 3 people that shared the videos. And this is how we get new people to come on and help and educate them. This month, we're giving a $100 gift card to your favorite restaurant and a night to ask Chris 20 questions, or a date if you want to.
Oh my God.
So, and then the last thing is, please email me at gini@federalinjurycenters.com and schedule your Zoom meetings. Get with your stewards, get with your union officials, get with just a group of you. Schedule a meeting with me so we could educate you and answer all your questions. And again, those of you that are going to schedule Zoom meetings for your union, we will send you a bunch of books for free.
Yeah. We want you to have the information. We want your unions to have it. We want your stewards to be using it. And we want less of you to have the hassles that come with OWCP injuries. So we hope we are able to do that. Yeah.
Somebody asked about the locations in Texas. One's in Oak Cliff, Dallas, and the other one is in McKinney.
And hopefully Houston coming soon.
Yeah. So we will see you guys again next week for another topic. If you guys have any topics you'd like us to educate you on, please don't forget to send us a message. With that said, thank you everyone for hopping on tonight and learning all about Schedule Award.
And happy Red for Feds Day, and happy birthday to Mr. Everett Kelly.
And Brad, my brother-in-law.
And my brother, Brad.
And if you need to go back and watch all the other videos that we have on there. It's great information. We look forward to seeing you guys next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Like, follow, and share.
Bye,
See you next week.
everyone.